everybody. My name is Thomas Harkin, and welcome to the FFC show. Tonight, I am joined by, I've done it again, Jay A. Lee. There we go.
Yes.
From Wai Muay Thai. Jay is fighting on Rhondda Rampage 3. Jay is fighting Kia Asadi, the Persian princess from Mama's Academy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand it over to Jay and just to give a bit of an introduction about himself.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah. Hi, I'm Jay. I'm 36 years old. I'm about to turn 36 anyway, from Glastonbury in Somerset. I belong to Wai Muay Thai. We're a new gym formed about 6 months ago, but I've been training with my coach far longer, and he's been training people for a lot longer than that. But yeah, new gym, new venture. We've been there for about 6 months now. We're a Thai gym, Thai boxing
Yeah.
gym, Muay Thai. Traditional as well. So this is my first K1 fight. I've had one previous Muay Thai fight, and yeah, looking forward to it. Should be a good show, hopefully.
Yeah, yeah. Well, obviously, as you said, you've had the Thai experience, and one of the things now coming across to K1, is there anything like off the bat that you feel that's already a little bit different to what your previous experience was, like getting ready and preparations and stuff?
Um, Not particularly. It's obviously there are differences. Yeah, I clinch quite a lot in Muay Thai as well.
Okay.
Clinching is like quite a big part of my game, so obviously I've got to make a bit of adjustment there.
Hmm.
And knees as well. I use a lot of knees.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's not too much of an adjustment. The pacing as well, I'm imagining, is going to be a bit different. Thai fights are obviously
Yeah.
5 rounds. But all these things are quite minor, aren't they?
Yeah.
Realistically, like at the end of the day, you've got to train as hard as you can, do what you do. So I'm making adaptations towards sort of a K1 fight. But it's all the same, isn't it?
Hmm.
It's the same as normal training, just slightly different. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's not a huge transition across, I don't think. We'll find out on February the 8th, but yeah. I think it should be so.
I know what you mean with not being such a huge transition. It's not a huge transition across, but it is that little bit different. Like you said, one of the biggest factors is the knees. It's a single knee and
Yeah.
single shot release in the clinch with K1.
Yeah.
Now obviously being your first one, I say first one back, but being the fight after that Thai fight, is there? I'm not going to say anything that's changed like within your feeling, but what made you transition to K1 as well? Like, are you happy
Um,
to fight both disciplines, or was it, just because that's what the offer was?
no, I'm more than happy to fight with K1. I think I don't know, I'm still relatively new to the fight game
Yeah.
and everything, but from what I know already, it seems like a lot of Thai fighters are moving over and doing K1.
Mm.
Like there's a lot of big events for K1 and stuff on. It's a good experience. It's a good opportunity.
Yeah.
And like I said, like yes, I don't mean to diminish it. There are adaptations to make for sure. But at the same time, those adaptations like are quite easy to make in the gym. Do you know what I mean? Like all my
Yeah.
sparring, I'm already focusing on catch and release in the clinch, single knees. I'm sparring at a faster pace straight from the off to get
Mm.
used to the fact it's going to be 3 rounds. It's probably going to be a bit more intense in the initial rounds than a Thai fight could be.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, there's these adaptations, but I think like most of the guys that I sort of go in the gym with, or I know who fought Muay Thai, they've all seemed to have K1 fights at some point in time. So it always seemed like it was going to be something I was going to be doing at some point anyway. My
Yeah.
coach is very much like a traditional Thai fighter, but he's previously won a K1 bout and had quite a few K1
Mm.
fights.
It is one of those
Um,
things like me and Mark were talking about it before. Like you do have a lot, like what you just said, really. You do have a lot of people transitioning between. They'll fight Thai or then they'll fight K1 or they bounce back and forth. And as you said, it's a small transition, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's not such a massive change of rule set. It's not like you're doing something completely different. You're just
no,
adding
I
and
mean,
taking things away.
if I'd been offered a boxing fight, as much as I've got hands and I use it in my fight game. If I was offered a boxing fight, I'm not arrogant enough to think that, that with zero training, I'm going to go and outperform. I've got boxer; it's a completely
Yeah,
different game with the
yeah, of
physics and the lack
course.
of and everything. But with K1 to Muay Thai, you can adapt to it. I feel there's changes to make and everything, but I feel like it's and I think I'm happy to have both K1 and Muay Thai fights
Mm.
in the future.
One
But
of
obviously, I come from a Thai gym, so
Yeah.
I also feel like having K1 fights will probably benefit my Muay Thai. it's all good experience.
Well,
It's new opportunities.
everything does, doesn't it? Like all the work you put in, it all comes for a reason. Like one of the things I wanted to say and touch on was you said about pacing, and obviously the difference in rule sets, again in Thai is always, with like the end class, some shows have the 5 1.5s, and then you have some shows like we do 3 2s for our Thai fights. But do
Yeah,
you, from obviously being your first one, like you said about your sparring has upped in your pace and stuff, do you feel that the rhythm is different? So do you feel that you have to prepare differently with your sparring, and then obviously with not just your sparring but everything else around, like in the fight? Because what I find with Thai is sometimes it's in the early rounds it's very like, not going to say single shot, but it is a bit slower, and it is a
feeling out
bit,
really. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, and it does last until the third round sometimes, and then they do pick up. But
yeah.
what's changed with your sparring to accommodate with the pace change?
Yeah, just like one of the things is starting a little bit quicker
Mm.
every single round. Trying to do a little less feeling out and trying to set the pace. Because obviously I'm sparring, my gym partners and stuff who aren't necessarily doing K1 fights, so kind
Yeah.
of setting a quicker pace. Like I said, it's clinch. Obviously, I'm not holding on to the clinch at all. If I get in a clinch position, single strike and exit. Um, Being quick with the hands. Things like the leg kicks, for instance, can be like, although it just sounds like a leg kick, a Thai kick versus a K1 leg kick are actually slightly different things.
They are very
Um,
different, really, and
so, so playing with stuff like that, all that kind of stuff.
see, when you said about the low kicks, that they are massively different. I find, like
Yeah, yeah, like a
especially,
massive. You're
yeah,
stepping through the kick a lot more in K1.
yeah, and you see it in the K1 style fights. Sometimes the kicks are either kicked up or they'll kick, across, but they won't step, or and it
Yeah,
does equals to pace, and obviously, as you said, that's the one thing that you do have to change into. But one of the
I
things
do
that,
also think though that sorry, I do also think though that like sometimes when we make this judgment about Muay Thai and K1 and the sort of differences, they're definitely there.
mm,
But I also think you're judging it from like you know, high level
yeah,
Muay Thai and
yeah, of
K1 fights
course,
that you might see. I'm one fight in. This is my second fight. It's my
mm,
opponent's first fight. And from interclubs and the fight experience I've had, I think when you're at the amateur level, it's not quite as polished. Do you know what I mean? So
you,
it depends
you're
on the
dead on,
opponent.
but
You
yeah,
can go in like in a club or a fight when you're in your early fight career. And a Muay Thai fight might well have a much more K1 paced sort of
yeah.
thing, just from the lack of experience from both fighters.
Yeah, you're dead on,
So
and it's quite
when
good
it's
that
your
you
first
brought
few
that up
fights,
as
you never
well.
know what you're going to do. It depends on you and your opponent and
Mm,
what you find when you get in there. You can, it's like Mike Tyson said, isn't it? Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
of course,
So
yeah.
I think that's more prevalent, early on in your fight
Yeah,
career. So
definitely. And no, like I said, that's quite good that you brought that up, because not a lot of people think about it like that. Like obviously when I'm looking at it from that perspective, is one of the things that I notice from myself in my sparring, if I'm doing Thai or if I'm doing K1, is like I feel the pace, I feel the difference, that,
yeah,
and as you said, obviously in the competition, but being so early, one of the things that I notice in interclubs is exactly what you said, is it doesn't matter what rule set you're under, it's kind of you go in. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
you go in
yeah,
for it, which is
yeah.
obviously
So
transitions
so I
across
guess
into a
like
fight.
I guess in answer to your question, like the main thing I've been doing differently, the key difference is like is cardio.
Okay.
It's making sure and more. You still got to have endurance to do a 3 round fight. You're going to be knackered at the end if you make it that
Oh
far,
yeah.
no matter how fit you are. But you want to have more sort of sprint based in cardio, intense cardio for the assumedly quicker pace. But like I
Yeah.
said, to be honest, from the like interclubs and fight experience I have had at the minute, admittedly limited, it's generally quite high pace anyway.
Yeah, yeah, and it's
Um,
good. And again, the reference it back to your training, like obviously up in the cardio and up in the high intensity stuff, that obviously does
yeah,
transition across. Especially being such a quick pace, and as you said, obviously both being so early within you one fight in, and the Persian Prince making his debut. Interclubs are completely different to a fight event, and that
oh, completely. Yeah,
that was going to bring me on to my next point. Like we we've already run out of paper tickets. Like we've got no paper tickets left now. All the tickets are online. And I think we like at the tail end of that. Now, being your second one, does the crowd or does any of the, I say build up, but it's a long day, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like you come
Yeah.
down, you do your weigh in, you fucking, and then not just that, you're mooching about, you're sitting around, you're watching everything get set up. It does take a long fucking time, but is it, does any of that add any pressure onto it? Like being your second one, do you feel anything extra?
I think the opposite actually. Like I think less so. It wasn't something I was particularly nervous about the first fight. It's
Mm.
stuff like the crowd and the atmosphere. It doesn't tend to affect me. Like I wouldn't say I enjoy public speaking or anything, but it also doesn't bother me. It doesn't sort of fill me with fear. Do you know what I mean? I'm quite comfortable with stuff like that. But it's the unknown, isn't it? In your first fight, you've
Yeah.
never experienced before. It's all new. It's I don't know, it's a bit of an overload. It's just an extra thing to process. And I feel like when you've already had one fight, that it's done. Do you know what I mean? Yes, it's still there, and yes, you still got to cope with it, but you've done it before. You know you can. It's not sort of overwhelming and new.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I quite like being in front of the crowd, to be honest. So in terms of stuff like that, yeah, I'm not. It's not something I'm worried about. I think it's an advantage having had one fight, if
Yeah.
anything.
I know what you mean. Like being there and obviously the crowd and stuff. It's like you know what you go in there to do, don't you? You don't,
Yeah,
it's not like everything. There's nothing that's surprising on the day. It's like right, this is the day I have to fight, basically. So it's
yeah,
you kind of just go in along and building up to that day, and then obviously when you start seeing the crowd and it's good that you can obviously you can move along without that because a lot of people it does affect a lot of people. And I'm not going to say that you see it, but sometimes you see it in the eyes. When the first like the walkout song comes on and they just come into the camera and you can see the eyes. It's a bit like, oh fucking hell, here we go, and
yeah.
you know,
For me, it's more the like the anticipation. Like you said, it's a long day.
yeah,
And and it's a long day of hurry up and wait as well, essentially, isn't it? You get yourself warm, you do the way, and then there's a point where you've done everything you need to do, and you're
mm,
just sat around waiting to go on. That's the worst bit for me.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
it's not. I wouldn't even say it's like the nerves. Obviously, everyone gets those. It's just the anticipation. It's the
mm,
like you're ready, you're fired up to go, and you've just got to wait for that moment.
yeah.
That's the bit that I find quite difficult to do.
I agree on that. And when I was fighting, my old coach wouldn't let me watch the fights either. Like he'd make us like sit in the back. He'd be like, "No, you can't." He's like, "You could watch 102," and it's like, "Right, go on, off you go now." And
Yeah,
then that anticipation now is increased now by 10 because the fact that like he told me the reason for it. It was just in case you see somebody get cracked and put out.
yeah,
You do want to be watching that, thinking, "Oh fuck, I'm going into." Do you know what I mean? That was like
yeah.
the reasoning for it, which fucking it worked. Like but
Yeah, I think it depends on the individual, doesn't it?
yeah,
Last time I did a bit of that. I watched a couple of fights and then I went out back. I guess some people are better being isolated and might be affected if they see something nasty occur.
mm,
I don't know that to me. Do you know what I mean? I think I'm best sort of like the more you focus on it, the worse it's going to get. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
You're there. You're there because you want to be there. You're there
of
because you've
course,
chosen it. You know what you're there to do. The feelings are going to be natural. You've just got to cope with them. And for me,
yeah,
that's just as much as possible, continuing as you are normally in any given day. Do you know what I mean? There's
yeah,
fights there to watch. I'm sure before my fight, I'll be watching and seeing what's going on. Chilling,
yeah.
hopefully.
Oh well, that's like I said, that's the thing in it. It's that everyone has got their complete different way, or because your coach tells you to do something, that's the way that you do it. Like with my fighters, I'm
Yeah,
completely different. I am. We sit and watch the fights we do. I
yeah,
find
yeah,
it
yeah.
I find it helps. But
I agree. I think it does as well.
it is like you said, it is a long day. Now on excuse me on the fact of being a long day, what stands out to you the most except from fighting?
In terms of what? Sorry.
So
In
is
terms
it
of what?
anything, obviously, like the anticipation, obviously the build up for the fight? Is it anything else that, you make weight and then normally it's go and get some food or, that, and then it's
Yeah.
much about, isn't it? And is there anything else that you do throughout the day?
Not really. No, just the normal stuff. Stay
Yeah.
hydrated. Like I said, get food. have a wander about if we need to. Generally keep an eye, like, because you know how it is. You often don't really know what time you're going to be fighting until
Yeah,
the day itself.
yeah,
So get an idea of that, and then you make your plan from there. Do you
yeah,
know what I mean? Like, if you're only in a couple of hours, then getting yourself sort of physically switched on, warming up a bit, and getting yourself mentally switched on, hand wrapping, all the stuff that goes along with it. If you know you've got a few hours, then watch some fights, have a mooch around,
yeah.
and you can go from there. But like I said, you don't really know till you get
No,
there on the day. And even then, the time is going to be a bit vague. Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like you'll be on at roughly this time, but this could happen or that could happen. So yeah, just sort of wing it on the day itself. Try and enjoy it. Like I said, obviously part of the fighting, you're going to have nerves, you're going to have anticipation, you're going to have energy, but at the same time, you're there because you've chosen it. You're there because
yeah,
you want to be there. All those feelings are natural. So try not to forget that and just enjoy it for what it is. You don't want to sort of like, look back on it and all be a blur. And you were just a nervous wreck the whole time. So just try and take it all in, mate, and enjoy it
yeah,
from
that's
there.
good. That's good, man. I like that. That's a really good attitude to add towards it as well, because like you're taking you're absorbing every part,
Yeah,
and you're taking every part into what you want it to be. Yeah, no, I like that. That's a good way of looking at it. Now, you said about watching some fights. I don't know if you've looked at the card. Obviously, I know that you're preparing for your own fight yourself, and obviously
yeah.
you're doing that. But is there any fights on our card that you've seen that stands out to you as well, other than your own, of course?
I'll be honest. I have a zero memory skill, so I've definitely looked at the fight. I've looked at the card,
Mm,
and I've watched some of these as well. Do you know what I mean? But I am
yeah,
still relatively new to the fight game, and like especially like the local scene and stuff.
yeah, yeah,
I've not been doing it for years and years, so I don't have all the contacts in the world. So I don't recognise
yeah,
every name that someone who has might do. Um, so yeah, I wouldn't say there is at all a fight that I'm particularly looking forward to. Just looking forward to the whole event.
yeah. No, that's fair.
I think when it's different if you're not a fighter, people are then generally looking for the big cards,
Yeah,
which is either the title fights and the really experienced guys, or the guys that just draw a crowd. Have got a character or a personality or something like that. When you're sort of infighting, you gain like it's all whether it's beginners, whether it's this way or whether it's got that way. It's all different, but it's all enjoyable to watch if you love fighting. Do you know what I mean? So,
dude, Ronda
and
Ram.
this is like I've only been to one fight card before.
Yeah.
So this is like, and this is going to be a big moment for me. It's going to be a new experience again.
Mm,
So I'm just looking forward to it all,
yeah.
honestly. I just want to take it all in as much as possible while I'm there.
Ronda Rampage one. We opened the card with two. I'm sure it was a debut, and somebody was 0-1. I'd have to double
Mm-hmm.
check. It was either a debut and a debut, or somebody was debuting and 0-1, and I was fighting the night. And like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's one of the things that I love about the local scene as well is you have these. Dude, that was such a and all of the fights and replays are all available on YouTube on the FFC channel. Like our replays, some of the fights, bro. You watch them back, and like you
Yeah.
said, being the opening, that was the opener of our first show, and it blew the roof off the place, and it was rammed as well. So like everyone was there, and everyone was there from the first fight up into the last. So but again,
Yeah.
it goes to the point as you said, the local shows and the local scene is the best because it does emerge. You see some great people emerge through as well, and obviously like you
It's
said,
also where you find the passion as well, though,
yeah,
isn't it? Like in the crowd. It's like,
yeah,
you go to a national event and you have your fans, but they might not necessarily know these people. Where every local show you go to, a good portion of the crowd is made up
yeah,
of the people who are on there as friends and family. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So they're all heavily invested in it. So yeah, the crowd is. I think if you haven't been to a fight show before, you might assume like a local event, the crowd aren't that invested, where it's actually the opposite. Do you know what I mean? The
Yeah.
crowd are incredibly invested. So
Yeah, well,
yeah,
with the main event for Round the Rampage one, Jordy was a homeboy, the crowd went mental, and then we had Cornelius as the Round the Rampage 2 main event, like another homeboy, crowd went mental, and like you said, it's the seeing the people there around as well. It does bring the atmosphere. Now, one of the things that I wanted to say about that, so obviously, as we said, it's going to be, we're looking at about so we're looking for a good a number of good fights. There's going to be altogether. We've got two title fights, and then obviously, like I said, a range of differences and a range of different experiences and stuff. But is it anything that you are looking to showcase in this fight? I know being your second one, but is there anything that you're trying to like I'm not going to say prove a point, but just showcase anything that's new or showcase anything that you've done different.
Obviously, for me, it'll be showcasing a transition to K1.
Mm,
That goes without saying. I'm in Muay
yeah,
Thai, so be that that be on showcase. I think I always want to. My basic principle, I think, in every fight at the moment, at least, I just want to showcase the best version of myself as a fighter as I possibly
yeah,
can.
yeah,
And the best way I can do that, I think, at least, is just leave it all in there. Do you know what I mean? Bleed and sweat it all out onto the canvas floor. Leave it all in there as a costume. Whether I win or lose, obviously I want to win as a fighter. You always want to win.
of course.
If you don't want to win, you probably shouldn't be fighting. Got a
Yeah,
huge desire and drive to win, but at the same time, as long as I give it my absolute best, and I use all my weapons as efficiently and as well as I can, I'm going to be a happy boy no matter what. It's all good experience at this point in time.
yeah, and it makes it exciting from a promoter's perspective as well. Is that when you say when you say that's what you want to do, because from my side, that's what we want. Like
Yeah, of
FFC
course.
is a platform where we give fighters like yourselves and everybody else just the place to showcase what they're capable of, and that's one of the best things I love about bringing in new gyms and bringing in different people who've never fought down here before, and one of the other sides to it is such a variety. Like you said, like you come from a Thai style, a Thai team, and and the fact that you're changing across, like that's what I love about stand-up combat sports is the fact that you get a display of so much, and again, starting from grassroots level, going up to title level is such a great display from what everybody is capable of around now. And like I said, I'll be honest, bro, I just fucking love fighting. Like it's that's what it's like for me. I love being part of it. I love coaching it. And as you said, one of the best things now is watching you guys come out now and I've not like a point to prove, but like you said, the just to show yourself, and from a promoter's
Yeah,
perspective is so excited, like so excited, honestly.
yeah. Well, I think in this circumstance, at least, the promoter and the fighter want exactly the same thing. We both want good, hard, exciting fights. I want
Yeah,
to challenge myself. There's no point in fighting if you're not progressing.
yeah, of course.
And I don't, so I hope that my opponent is I hope he can give me a few challenges. I hope he's a game opponent, and that
Mm.
we have a war in there. That I can use it to learn and improve in the future. That's what I'm hoping for.
Now,
So
when you speak about your opponent, now he's from Mama's Academy. Have
yeah,
you done? Obviously, being his debut, you can't. It's not like you can look for footage or anything at all. It's not like you've got Fight Pass or anything. But is there? Is there anything that you've done different in like because obviously we're 2 weeks out now, so is there anything that you've done different in the last 2 weeks for this one that you've done prior in your debut, knowing that again being another debut and just being your second fight, like
no, not really. Like I said, when you're sort of in your early fighting career, yeah, you can look up the club on Instagram and
yeah,
do a little bit of a dive like that, and we all do. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? Even if we pretend we don't, we all do. Out of morbid curiosity. But like, even if you get any footage or anything from there, how much if you're really lucky, you might get 30 seconds of footage across a whole
yeah,
Instagram,
exactly, yeah,
and how much you can actually read into that footage is you don't
no,
know. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
So at this point, it's very much a case of you just train yourself as best as you can. And obviously, the only difference in this one is it's a K1 fight versus a Muay Thai. So the adaptations we spoke about. But other than that, you've just got to train yourself to be as well rounded and good as you can, to be adaptable to any situation you find yourself in, while still trying to implement your own tools and weapons and what you know you're good at. As long as you do that, it will play out on the night. Do you know what I mean? If you work as hard as possible, it's probably going to go your way, hopefully.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
and on back on the fact that obviously with the fight and working as hard as you are, one of the things you referenced at the start was you're like a clinch style fighter. Now, in the point that we
Mm.
said just now about the K1, can you describe your fighting style? I'm not going to say like in 3 words or anything, but could you describe your fight style from your first fight and what it is now?
Yeah, so yeah, I wondered if you asked. It's a good question. I mean, my first fight, I was 6 months in. I started training Muay Thai 6 months before. So I'm now a bit over a year into that.
Yeah.
And so when you like the difference between the two is it's night and day. Do you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean? I've got
yeah.
double the experience. So it'll be a completely different. I am a completely different fighter to that night, no doubt in my mind. And I've developed and improved, and so that much is covered just by the experience that's been gained over that sort of time.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, well, sorry, I forgot. What was the rest I had another point to make, and I completely got carried away on that one. I forgot what you were
No,
saying.
no, you're all good, dude. It was like describe your fighting style and how.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, yeah. My fighting style also like I wouldn't say I really overanalyze it or want to at this point in time
Mm,
either. Again, like I've got a year's worth of experience and I work as hard as possible within that year. I try and outwork as many people as I can to get as much experience in a short time as I can.
yeah,
Um, and I know there's things I'm good at. And naturally you'll have not flaws or things you're not good at, but areas that you've got things you're good at. You go no, you've got some other areas that you're maybe weaknesses to you.
yeah.
Um, so it's trying to do your best to get better at all those weak areas as you can, and learn how to use them efficiently.
Mm,
But also I'm trying to be as well rounded as I can at this point.
yeah.
And I don't want to sort of pigeonhole myself into one sort of style or anything like that.
No, no, I get you.
I want to sort of just be the best fighter I can be and let that happen sort of naturally, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
Um, when I mention the clinch, it's really, I think it comes from my frame. I'm sort of, I walk around at 82, 83 kg. I can get up to about 85 just standards walking around. I'm training all the time, so I'm generally in shape anyway. But I'm 6 foot tall. I've got quite long limbs, so naturally, in Muay Thai at least, knees. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean? Clinch
yeah,
and knees work. And obviously, if you
yeah,
are a tall fighter, you have advantage on the outside. But you also your disadvantage on the inside. If you've got a shorter guy, he can put angles much quicker than you.
yeah,
So, a natural way of dealing with that is clinch and knee. In terms of like a transition to Muay Thai and K1, luckily then it's not that different. Obviously, the only difference is I can't stay in the clinch and keep re-maneuvering and
yeah,
keep
yeah.
going with knees. So I've had to adapt to knee release, catch release. But other than that, it's not that different.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? It's there's adaptations to make, but I feel like I can achieve them quite capably. It's
Without
not something I'm particularly concerned about.
without giving too much away, could you give us a bit of a run through of what your normal training week is?
Yeah, I can give you. Yeah, so I do strength and conditioning, cardio work and stuff like that 3 mornings of a week.
Mm.
So I'm doing that 3 mornings a week. I'm at the gym basically every day. I think I'm out there 5, 6 days a week. So Monday sparring class. I help out at my gym as well, by the way. I'm sort of like working my way up to being an assistant coach.
Yeah.
Help out with the social media. I'm kind of my coach's right hand man, I guess, unofficially. So I'm at classes Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, every day of the week. After classes, I'm staying for, at least 3 times a week, I'm staying for PTs, which
Mm.
will either be cardio based or technical based. And often after class, like normal after class, actually, most classes will finish up. My coach Lance will leave, and I'll be left there for half hour to an hour to lock up. We may go hit the bags, we may spar. It's different every time, but
Yeah.
got that kind of gym atmosphere where you can do that. Sundays sparring, and recently to get ready for this fight, I did an interclub last week. Got another interclub tomorrow, so you've got interclubs and stuff like that
Nice.
thrown in there as well.
Nice.
And so yeah, that's a pretty typical week. Sparring twice a week, cardio 3 times a week, classes most nights,
Mm.
and then all the informal stuff that goes with it. So I live in my gym. I spend more time
No, I got you.
in the gym or at work than I do at home.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
So constant training, which is good.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing, bro. Is when you put yourself in a position where you know what you need to be doing, it just comes, doesn't it? You know, like you know that you need to be doing
Yeah,
this, or you know that you need to be doing this. Like your gym kind of sounds like the same as my style. Like with mine, like the boys have got keys. If they want to go down
yeah,
and rip a bag, they can go down. We got weights down there. If they want to go down, do a weight session, jump, and then it do a couple of rounds on a bag, and then do some sparring. We got the ring there as well. Like they know they can do that. So it sounds it's the same kind of atmosphere, and I find that helps a lot because when the coach is there, they're there to bring out the best in everybody. But then I find sometimes when people are left to their own devices, that's when they can kind of learn a little bit more because they can slow things down to the way that they want to do it as well. and
Yeah,
that's one of the things that I found with my guys is like when you see little improvements, and obviously it's the same kind of thing with you. Like you see when you're looking from the outside looking in, you can see it, can't you? And obviously, as you said, like that's one of the things you've been doing is improving as well. And obviously, you're putting the work in to show that you've improved along with your experience, So, like I said, I'm excited.
yeah,
I am.
yeah. Sure. I
Um,
can't wait. Yeah, I
now,
think the only thing you can do is put the effort in, isn't it? That's the
yeah,
only thing you really have control over, is in training as hard as you can and as well as you can to be in as good a position as you can to do well on the night.
yeah. No,
As long as you can do that, you can go to bed, you can sleep at night, and you can accept whatever comes your way at the end of it. You know what I mean? But like if you do slack off, if you're not doing that, that's when you're going to run into problems, isn't it?
yeah,
You can't live with that after the fact. So
yeah. Now that leads me into my next question. Like, again, not giving too much away, but what can the fight fans expect? I know you said that obviously you want to put on an entertaining fight and you want to do, and
yeah,
that's one of the big things that we're all looking forward to. But is there, what are you expecting? Being, early on, being a debut, and I'll be honest that the two of you were, with the heavier guys as well. You expect a bit of
yeah,
a battle, don't you? So
yeah.
what is it you're expecting?
I'm expecting a war. Honestly, like I said, we're two reasonably big guys. It's a debut fight. So I'm expecting a war. I'm expecting a back and war slugfest.
Yeah,
Obviously I want to keep it as techno as possible. I want to have a good clean fight, but you always prepare for the worst. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? And I
yeah. No, I
expect it.
get you.
I expect to get knocked up and hit and everything else that comes with it. It's going
Yeah,
to. When you say like, yeah, I want to put on an entertaining fight. I want to put on a show, but I also feel that's just kind of the way I fight at the same
yeah,
time. Like I said earlier, I just want to give it my all, put 110% in there, leave nothing left behind. I'm sure it's the same from my opponent.
mm,
If we both do that, you sort of can't fail to put on a good show. Do you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
just sort of it's going to come with it.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
And
if
and
you both got a desire to win,
yeah,
and you're willing to take the shots to get there, then hopefully we have a good war. That's what I'm
yeah.
hoping for.
And again, like that's what we want. And as we said, bigger boys as well. You can
Yeah.
really good to watch from the outside. Now we're coming to the end, we are, Jay, right? So there's a couple of questions just to wrap it up. Now,
Cool.
one I have one which what do you see as your biggest strength going into this fight? I know, like obviously, I know we talked about your experience and stuff being quite early on, but is there anything that
Yeah.
you find as a major strength that you have?
Um, I think mindset.
Okay.
I think just approach to the fight, um, knowing why you're doing it, and,
Mm.
and that that you remind yourself that you've chosen it, you want to be there. That's it. You want to be there, knowing that you put in all the effort you can possibly do into training, so you feel that as comfort. Just knowing you've ticked all the boxes.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And being calm and ready, not taking it lightly. You know why you're there. You know what you're there to do, but just yeah, I just want to savor the moment, basically. I want to go out there, have a good scrap, and enjoy it.
One of
And
the
I think
things,
that's where your head needs to be at. And I've also got that desire to win. Do you know what
yeah.
I mean? I want to win. I want to put on a show. I want to give 110%. So I think the way I'm approaching this fight is I'm in everywhere where I need to be in my mind to do
Mm.
well.
One of the
So I
things
think that's my biggest strength.
that I'm
I'm
getting from you,
confident. I know what I'm there to do.
yeah. One of the things I'm getting from you is you know what you're going in for, and you're quite realistic about it. You're not giving yourself any, like,
Yeah,
I'm not going to say false sense of hope, but you have a lot of people which kind of like, oh yeah, I know what's going to happen. You're not giving off that. You're quite real about what, like you said, it's going to be a fucking war. Like, it's not going to be an easy scrap, and it's
yeah.
good. It's good to
Don't
see
get me
that.
wrong. If you ask me what I want to happen, I'd love to go there and one punch KO this guy and have an absolute high right grip. We all would. And if that happens, I'm not going to be at all upset. I promise
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
But at the same time, you're going in there to fight. It's one of those weird things in life, isn't it? I think people who don't fight might not ever understand it, but it's one of the few times in life where you're going out there to basically hurt someone and cause as much damage to them as you can, physically and mentally, in order to get what you want out of it,
yeah.
which is the win. And you're also going in there knowing that they want to do the same to you.
and they've prepared
Um,
the
and there's
same
different
amount of
ways.
time as you.
Yeah,
And yeah,
yeah, exactly. Not only do you want to do it, you're trained to do it.
mm,
You built a whole camp around trying to get to do it
yeah,
and a game plan. And there's different ways of coping with that. Some people might want to fill themselves with that confidence to feel like they can do it and not have worry. There's other my approach is like I said, it's fairly realistic. I think it's just I know what I'm there to do. I know what can I know what I want to happen. I know what effort I put into making that happen.
yeah,
Um, but, but at the same time, it's the fight game. Anything can happen, and that for me motivates me even more to be as perfect as I possibly can when I'm in there. Do you know what I mean? To not make mistakes, to keep myself honest, to not get carried away, to be the best fighter I can be when
yeah,
on the night as well. So
yeah.
that's my approach, and I think that's a strength for me at least. It works for me.
No, like I said, like that's one of the things that I have taken it again back to it is your mindset. You're very real about what you should be expecting going forward, and as you said, you know what you've been doing, and it's good to see because I've seen a couple of people, and I'm not gonna say delusional, but when people do kind of live in that little world where it's like, oh yeah, this is exactly what's gonna happen. It's not, though, is it? You know,
Yeah, I
and
think it probably comes with a bit of life experience as well. Though, like
yeah,
I'm 30, I'm 35 at the moment, and I'm on my second fight. A lot of the guys I'm fighting are younger. Do you
yeah,
know what I mean? And you spun around the block a few times. I also know, like, I want to do as much as I can in fighting. I'd like to make a name for myself and go out and get bouts and good times. So I know what I've got to do to get there.
yeah,
And I know the sort of time scale I'm working with. So for me, the best thing I can do at the minute is have as many and as frequent hard fights as I can. I want to be challenged in that. I want to progress and learn. So yeah, that's what I signed up for. Like I say, if I one kick head kick him in the first 10 seconds, great, no complaints. But yeah, I'm kind of not really hoping for that. I'm hoping for a good battle. A good
yeah,
one. It's
and
been 6 months since my last one. I'm itching for it. Do you know what I mean? I'm in that
yeah.
point where I need to get there now.
Yeah, and that's good as well. Like obviously, like we said, we're 2 weeks out. You took the fight. Well, we were 5 weeks out, I think it was, wasn't it? So you've had,
Yes, yeah,
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 it was about 5 weeks out. So it was a good build up, good training, and obviously now like we said, we still got a fortnight away. But it is when you're starting to get that feeling where you get, like you said, that itch, and you're starting to get it. That's where the excitement starts to build now, isn't it? Like coming into fight week towards the end, and
yeah.
that's what it's about.
I'm feeling good about this fight because that's how I since I signed, that's how I felt basically.
Yeah,
I've been sort of itching to get there,
yeah.
enjoying the training, enjoying it all, and just wanting to get to that night. I'm really excited for it. So yeah, it's coming from a good place. It's all
Good.
looking good, I think.
Like I'll be honest, dude. Like we're excited to get you in there. Like one of the obviously, like we met each other through Flow Fightwear, and obviously that's how
Yes.
we linked up and got you into the show and stuff. But that's one of the things that we want to do is when we link up with new gyms and new teams and stuff to bring you guys down and like I said that you made your debut against a boy who was supposed to fight on the show. Uh, and
Yeah.
like that's the thing. Like you've had a tough scrap to start with, and obviously like that's why we wanted to bring in again, just bring in as much talent as we possibly can. And one of the things that's definitely showing through is the fact that you're looking for a scrap, and that's the type of people that we want, man.
Yeah.
That's what it's about with us.
Yeah.
Like I said, I
Yeah.
just love her
Ready and
through.
winning.
Yeah, man, I love her through and through. Now, we got two questions before we wrap it up. Now, so number one
Sure.
is obviously you said about the gym just being just real. Sorry, you said about the gym being new and stuff. Do you want to give us a bit of a
Yeah.
rundown on the gym and where you are and stuff?
Yeah. I'd love to. So we are Wai Muay Thai, WAI Muay Thai. We're in. We cater to all ages and abilities. It's very much like my coach Lance. He's been, he was a fighter before. He's been coaching for a good length of time in multiple gyms now, multiple different settings. I think 15 years at least. Um, and we just like our goal as a gym is we're in Street Somerset. Sorry if I didn't say that already. I don't know where we cut off. Our goal is just to, we're a traditional Thai gym, and you've got a gym, right? Or
Yeah,
you
yeah.
work around gyms. So, yeah,
I got a gym, yeah, and then I obviously with Flow Fight where I
yeah.
work around with a lot of the teams and stuff.
Yeah, so with gyms, it's like particularly like my coach's passion is fight. he loves Muay Thai. His passion is Muay Thai generally, but he loves fighting. And me too. And obviously, as a gym, a lot of the time that's often the case, isn't it? You have
Yeah,
fight gyms, and then you have slightly more commercial gyms or training gyms. And if you're a fight gym, you understand that that fighters aren't a common breed.
yeah,
It's not everyone you train is going to go on and fight and have interclubs. So our sort of our passion is Muay Thai generally. Obviously, our core passion is fighting, and we want to do that as much as possible.
yeah,
But we also want to. Our gym is all about sort of helping people, helping whoever comes along achieve whatever goals they
yeah,
have. So for some people, that's just fitness. For some people, it's improving confidence. For some people, it's self-defense. Whatever it is, that's our dream is to build a friendly, fun sort of family environment in the gym where people can just come along and train, and whatever their goals are, help them achieve that. So if
yeah,
they want to go on and have fights, absolutely get them ready for those fights.
yeah.
But equally, if it's something else, that's fine too. Um, Sorry, carry on.
No, no. One of the things I wanted to say was when you said about being a fight, like a fight gym. Fight gyms are different. I do find them different. Like you find when you said about the fighters being a uncommon breed, they are because like you
Yeah,
punch each other in the face on a Friday for a laugh. I know it just sounds
yeah,
stupid, right?
yeah, yeah,
But like you do.
yeah,
There's things within that gym that there's certain not a lot of people can get comfortable with, you know. And there's a lot of people from I'm not gonna say different walks of life, but like you'll have one of the boys who's a teacher, and then you'll have one of the boys who's a plasterer, and then you'll have one of the boys then who's doing his A levels, you know, and next thing you know, and
yeah,
them three are like the best fucking friends, you know, complete different backgrounds,
yeah,
and
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but they get on the best, or they do the best sparring, or they're the best with pads and stuff, and that's what I love about martial arts, and especially with fight, like as you said, referencing back to the fight gyms, because that's what I find Apollo Sports as is we're close knit, you know, and it's a gritty place because that's what you want, you know. And
Yeah, and I guess our gym is like, we what we're trying to do, like I said, it's about you can't appeal to everyone all the time, but
yeah,
my coach and me too, we're just passionate about Muay Thai. And
yeah,
obviously we're also personally passionate about fighting. But our gym, it's a bit of both. It's an
yeah,
unusual sort of mix where, we have, help, we just want to help people achieve their goals. So for a lot of
and
people, that could be improving confidence, improving fitness, life skills, whatever it is. Uh, and then you have sort of, an inner group of that who want to go on and compete and
mm.
fight. Um,
and that's
so,
one of
so
the
yeah,
things. One of the things that you have with
sorry.
I find with martial arts is it brings out the best in everybody, and that's what I mean with the whole the fight gym aspect is the fact it brings out the best in everybody. Sorry, I've had to let the
Yeah, I
dog out,
mean,
and I thought he was at the door again. I just had to open the door to check. But that's what I mean.
yeah.
It brings out the best in everybody, doesn't it? You know, because you have people from different backgrounds and come in with different goals and different approaches, and they all work together. You know.
Yeah, and I know it sounds like all emotional and like a lot to say, but at the same time, like it helps people outside of the gym, outside of fighting, in their day-to-day life. A lot of people,
Yeah.
gain a huge amount from training and being in that environment. So yeah, that's what we want for our gym. We just want it to be as cool a place for people, a home away from home for people to go train, get fit, and improve in whatever area it is they want to improve in.
And one of the
We like I said, we are sorry, yeah,
No, 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 no. Sorry to interrupt. I was just about to say one of the things
no,
that I totally agree upon with you is what you said just now about being a place that come on, Shadow, being a place that everybody can come to. Like one of the things that I found, which is a big part of our gym, is after training, everybody just have. I'm not going to say everyone has a chat, like everyone goes through everything, but you get everybody who will, you know, like they'll talk about if they've had a crap day in school, or one of the boys will talk about something that's happened in college, and then one of the boys will talk about something that's happened in work, and then that's one of the biggest things as well that I find that you know a gym and a team can bring out in a person is the confidence to have the conversation about everything that they're going through as well.
yeah.
And
I
I
think as a coach, you get even greater insight of that because
yeah,
you're aware of the benefits of fighting has had on you
yeah,
mentally in your life or whatever it may be. So then when you see people come in and you can see them start to change, be a little bit more confident, a little bit
yeah,
more sure in themselves or proud of the technique that they've got coming along or whatever,
yeah,
you're much more sort of aware, able to see it.
yeah, yeah,
But that's what it's
yeah,
all about at the end of the day. It's challenging yourself and overcoming adversities is what fighting is, isn't it?
Yeah,
So
it is. It is.
yeah, if you can translate that into an environment where people feel happy doing that in the gym and sort of supported and like they're part of a team who are going to help them do that, that's the dream, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely. Now, last one, and then we'll just wrap it up and give a thank out to the sponsors and stuff. So, last question is, what can the crowd at Rhondda Rampage 3 expect to see from you on the night, and what is your prediction for the fight?
Ooh, okay. For in terms of what the crowd can see, I hope to put on as big a show as possible.
Yeah,
To go out there from the first minute of that fight to lay it all on the line, give everything I've got, to try and get that win. Do you know what I mean? And take that win however I can in a legal sense. To just hang it all out there and leave it all out there, which I feel like if my opponent's in the same state, which I'm sure he is, he can't fail to put on an amazing show for them, right?
yeah,
It's going to be a banger. I'm sure. I've just got a feeling in my gut about it. In terms of prediction for the fight, I don't know because, like we said, it's you're early in your fight career. I can't do any research on this guy. I don't know his strengths and weaknesses. So anything can happen. Like that links back to what we just said for the crowd perspective.
yeah.
It's one of those fights where it's a wild card. Anything can happen. My prediction is obviously going to be like I know how hard I train. I don't know this guy personally. I'm sure he trains like a beast, but I'm pretty sure he ain't training harder than me because I'm training as hard as I physically can. So yeah, my prediction is that because of all my hard work I put in, I'm going to get that win. I
Awesome.
don't know how that will be, but I just know I'm going to look for whatever opportunity there is available to me. Obviously, I've got a bit of a game plan, but like I said earlier, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. I'm just going to take any opportunity given to me. Whatever's given to me, I'm going to take every single opportunity, every shot I can give to try and get that win, basically.
I love it. I
Which
love
I
it.
feel like I said, I think I'm sure it's going to be an entertaining one.
Like I said, I'm excited,
Yeah.
man. I am, like the, it's like you said, it doesn't really matter about the experience right now. Like everyone is training. You're coming from a good gym. Everyone's coming from decent, like top level gyms, and they compete in. So there's going to be. It doesn't matter about numbers on a sheet at the moment. It's going to be a good scrap. Okay, every time things will improve, of course, but that coming in, it doesn't matter if it's your debut or your 10th fight. You're coming in to have a good go, and that's one of the exciting parts to it. And like I said, I'm bumped in, man. I can't wait, especially being bigger boys as well. I'm gonna be there. Don't worry about that. I'm making sure I'm out. And also, bro, one of the other sides is I know what your kit looks like, so I'm definitely gonna be there to see how cool that looks as well. So, but yeah, man, like I said, I'm
I think
excited.
we're the only two people in existence who know what my kid looks like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I haven't
Yeah, it's gonna be
obviously.
awesome, man. I honestly can't believe.
Yeah, but like I said, I just want to say thanks,
Sorry,
really,
you
bro.
the kid.
No, no, dude, it's all good. It's all good. Fucking,
Thank you.
like
No, thank you.
it's it's great to have you on board, like and obviously especially being a new gym and stuff and yeah, it's great to have you on board. So I just want to say thanks and we'll wrap it up there now. So I just want to say thanks to all of the sponsors from the FFC show. Without all of you, it wouldn't be possible. Big thanks to Flow Fightwear, thanks to Nails by Sancha, Conk's Barbershop, Brad Bailey Civils. Without you all, it wouldn't be possible. We got Muscle Mechanics, Qatari Mouthguards. There's so many. Jay, can you let everybody know where they can follow your journey with your fighting and also let everybody know where they can find the gym as well?
Yeah, of course. So it's Wai Muay Thai, WAI Muay Thai on Facebook. Same thing on Instagram. Those are the best places to find us stuff. We're pretty active on social media. And yeah, for me, thank you to you for the opportunity. This is what we're looking for: is the opportunities to get ourselves out there, make a name, put on a big show. In terms of my personal sponsors, just thank you to my gym, all my sparring partners, all my mates, everyone involved. Do you know what I mean? Like, what it might seem like an individual sport to the uninitiated, but fighting's very much a team sport, isn't it? So
It
thank
is.
they know who they are, but to
Yeah.
everyone who's contributed anyway to get to me to this fight, thank you. And yeah, hopefully I can return the favour for all the sacrifice that's been made on my behalf by putting on a good show on February 8th.
Awesome. Awesome. Like I said, I'm looking forward to it, and I know everybody else who's listening is looking forward to it as well. So, just want to say thanks very much, Jay, and we'll catch you on February 8th. So, guys, tickets are still available on Box. There
Awesome.
are no tickets left now with fighters. There are zero paper tickets left. All tickets are available now on Box. So, make sure you get onto that. Thanks very much, guys, and have a good evening.